Hello everyone, how you doing? Thank you so much for having me. It's really cool to be invited to these things. You kind of touched on it a little bit you pretty much gave my whole presentation. Just kidding. I wanted to take the time and thank you for the invite, and I want to talk about Burrtec waste. We just in a competitive bid, we were awarded the city franchise. For the past, almost 20 years, we've been doing commercial service for the city of Santa Clarita. We bid for the commercial and the residential service, and we were awarded the franchise. Primarily, I believe it was because we really value customer service. We really value the people that put us where we are, and on top of that, the competitive bid, we were the lowest bidder, and this is in the challenge of introducing organic recycling to the residents of the city of Santa Clarita as per the Senate Bill 1383. So if you don't know what Senate Bill 1383 is, it is a statewide mandate that was passed by the state of California. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about what is organics. We're gonna talk about a little bit of what the city contract looks like, and of course, I'd love to answer any questions that you guys would have. So Senate Bill 1383 is a short-lived Climate Pollutant Act. When you put some in the landfill and you bury it, if it is organic material, it's going to exude, it is going to release a gas, known as methane, and that causes pollution. And so in efforts to prevent that pollution to occur, those short-lived climate pollutants, the state of California passed Senate Bill 1383, which requires California to reduce landfill disposal of organic waste by 75% by 2025. And so the local government, which in our case would be the city of Santa Clarita, they had to respond accordingly, and they put ordinances in place, and that was one of the bigger part of this bidding process was, how are we going to do it as the hauler? How are we going to provide this service? And so we brought that plan forward, and this is what, I want to talk about a little bit today. What is organics? Well, organics is pretty much anything that was alive, anything, whether it was an animal or a plant. What we would consider is plate scrapings, vegetables, fruits, cooked meat, seafood, cheese and dairy, breads, peels, expired food. Additional to some of the obvious things of food waste, we also accept food soiled paper, greasy napkins, so paper that has been soiled by food, we'll take that. Coffee grounds and even their filters. Unfortunately, we don't take the K-cups that are wrapped in plastic, because plastics aren't organics, they don't break down. But we'll take the filters from the original coffee grounds, as we all know it, tea and tea bags. We'll take bones, we'll take meat. I know some folks like to have, their own organics composting system at their house. Well, there's some challenges with that when it comes to bone and some of the things that aren't so easy to break down. We'll take all of that. And this is why, even if you do have a compost program at your house, we still require that you would subscribe to a compost program with us, because we'll take that stuff that you can't compost at your house, and as little as it would be, we want to encourage you to continue doing what you were doing. Just the things that cannot be added to your compost, we're going to take that, because ultimately that cannot go to the landfill for the sake of the Senate bill and reducing the climate. So the City of Santa Clarita 2023 contract begins in July 1st of this year. So we're just right around the corner. We're gearing up. We're getting our brand new trucks in. We're bringing a lot of the drivers and the folks from Waste Management to hop over to Burrtec Waste and continue their service to the city. And we're really excited to have those folks. And we've been really working on that. But primarily, our duties to the city of Santa Clarita is to comply with the state law. And we're going to do that for residential and commercial. July 1st, we'll begin. We're going to start seeing our trucks out there, and we're going to continue servicing the commercial businesses along with the residential businesses. So that's going to continue with the Santa Clarita contract. Some changes that you're going to experience, other than just the new hauler, is everybody has to get an organics container. Everybody has to get an organics container. If you don't have an organics container, that's going to increase the chances of you, really guarantee the chances of you throwing an organic material away to the landfill. So, we understand that there are space challenges in certain areas. We provide smaller organic containers in order to help that, much smaller than the standard 96 gallon, all the way down to a 32 gallon. We provide that service of those containers to help with some of those challenges. Additional to that, you will receive food waste pails, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. We like to say every front door is going to get a food waste pail, and we're going to talk about what that process looks like. Residents will be asked to place bagged food waste into the organics or green cart, and again, I'm going to show you what that process looks like in a little bit. And you will receive a welcome package that will be sent in the following weeks, providing detailed instructions on Burrtec's services and their new billing information. So some other changes you're going to see are the colors of the containers. This is per the Senate Bill 1383. Throughout California, depending on who your hauler is, it would depend on what colors your containers are. They wanted that to stop. They wanted everybody who has trash to either have black or gray. Everybody with recycling, it would be a blue, and then organics and green waste would be green. And so it's pretty standard. I know with waste management, you guys have the blue barrels and so on and so forth. We're going to be changing all that when we initially swap out your waste management containers for Burrtec. So everybody will get new Burrtec carts. What we're doing is we're buying the waste management carts, and we're going to begin the process of switching those out with brand new Burrtec carts. And it's harder to see here, but you're going to receive that graphic that you see, and I can send it to you guys too if you get my email address. But it's some of the do's and don'ts of what goes in the garbage, what goes into the recycling, and what goes into the organics. And that yes, I got a question. Yeah. They want to add you in the recording.
Okay, what happens with like grass or weeds?
Yeah, that's a great question. So with the organics cart, which is the green one, we are going to ask all residents you're going to place two types of material in there. It's going to be green waste and it's going to be food waste. So right now, many residents have only green waste, and with green waste, obviously, that's your trimmings, your weeds, your branches, stuff like that. We're continue doing that, but we ask that would be placed in the same container as loose, which means not bagged, and so that's going to continue just like normal. It's just going to, you get the you put your weeds, all of that's going to be loose. Your food waste is going to go in the same container, but it's going to be bagged. Does that make sense?
Our bags, or are you doing?
No, they're going to be bagged. They're going to be your bags, plastic bags. Some of the best ones, I use personally, are the plastic bags that you would get at a grocery store. But you can use bread bags, you can use coffee cans, whatever you can use. But they need to be contained so that it would separate from the green waste, because they go through two different processes. The green waste goes through one process and the food waste goes through another process. And so in order for us to only give you guys 3 cans instead of 4 cans, because what's better than 3 cans is 4 cans, we don't want to do that. We're going to utilize that organics to house both green waste and food waste.
What about
Animal waste, it's a great question, would be trash. Yeah, that cannot be processed as organics. It'll be just continue kitty litter, dog waste. That's going to be trash.
And
Yes.
like limbs and stuff from the tree and bushes.
Yeah. So that's going to be loose in the green. Loose in the green. It's not going to be
Same as
bagged.
the grass trimmings.
Correct. Yeah. Loose in the green. Yeah. And again, that's going to, so when that gets all collected, it gets sent to the material recovery facility. They're going to be able to separate the food waste from the green waste, because the food waste is going to be bagged and the green waste is going to be loose. Does that make sense? Fantastic. So I want to talk about the food waste pail. I brought one just to kind of, show and tell a little bit of what this looks like. Everybody's going to get this. we've actually rolled these out in LA County. We've been servicing LA County residents, Cass Steak, Stevenson Ranch, and we had some growing pains there. When we initially delivered these, they weren't labeled. So, naturally everybody thought they were bombs. I'm not joking. They were, everybody was speculating on what they were. Once they did find, they opened them up, we had some material in there as to, some of the information. And they just, they were putting food waste in it, but they were placing this inside of the car as we were just going to give you one a week. So, or some of them, my favorite was they were placing them outside with the containers like a truck was going to service this. So I want to be clear that this is not a bomb, and B, this goes inside the house. This stays in your house. It stays in my kitchen. I keep it in the cupboard. And the reason for that is this works as a great utility to help collect your food waste. So the way I use it at home is I set it on my counter, I open it up, and I take my grocery bag. And these fit just fantastic in these grocery bags you get at any grocery store or Walmart. And sorry for the noise, but I line them just like this, and it just fits really well. And as I'm cooking, I'm putting my scraps in there, the things I'm not using, and when we're done with dinner or lunch or breakfast, I scrape into it. And so once this fills up, I take it out and I tie it up, and where do I put it? I put it in the green container. And that's pretty much the process. And so something like this that we're going to provide to everyone, no additional cost. We're not going to charge you for this. This comes with the service. You get one of these. It just helps it helps with the process. You just remember, oh yeah, and you know what, my wife loves it because I used to make a big mess. I don't know anybody else who cooks. I would just kind of, chop stuff up and just leave everything there. My station gets all messed up, and now it just goes right into the organics process, and it's just a lot cleaner. So I love it for that reason, but additional to that, it helps do this the correct way, and it helps you, with the efforts of Senate Bill 1383. Are there any questions about the food waste pail? Yes.
What happens to the plastic bag?
That's a great question. So the plastic bag at the material recovery facility, they remove that from the food waste, and then that does go to the landfill. Now, one thing, I know you hear that and you go, oh man, we're sending stuff to the landfill. I'm telling you what, it's better to put plastic in a landfill than have it end up in the ocean, where a lot of these bags are. So these bags guarantee that they're going to go to the landfill and they're going to be processed as such. And again, it's not a perfect process, but it also helps reduce another truck, another driver, and another invasive can at every property. So we needed to find a way of how to bring that down, the green waste and the food waste in one can. This is the best way to do this. The problem with compostable bags, the problem with biodegradable bags, with paper bags, they just break down. If the material is really flimsy. So once it gets in the truck, gets pressed, tossed around, it breaks, it doesn't hold up. And so the plastic really help kind of contain that material all the way to the material recovery facility where it can be processed in the way it needs to be per the Senate bill and per the efforts.
So we pay 10 cents a bag to the state, and then we turn around and put it back in the landfill. And we paid the 10 cents, so it's supposed to process that. I don't know if you saw the special that was on last night, that 70% of plastic bags do not make it into recycling.
Well, yeah, so a point to that is the reason is that these bags aren't recyclable, they're reusable. And, 10 cents, I pay the 10 cents just because of the convenience, but again, you can repurpose the bags, the produce bags, the bread bags, people use containers, coffee containers. There's ways of doing it. Again, it's not, we acknowledge that it's not a deal. In a perfect world, we would have a better way to doing that, but I mean, we're having trouble giving folks a third container. There's no way we can do fourth, and this is just something that the state of California, they passed the mandate, and this is our best way right now to comply to that mandate and get folks recycling their organics. So it's one of those things where you make one sacrifice for another, and that can change in the future. Right now, that's just the best way to move forward. Yes.
What about plastics and cans, bottles and cans? Where do they go?
Yeah, we'll take those in the recycling. Yeah, cans and
Recycling?
yeah, the blue bottles, cans, and again, that list, we'll have, I mean, I can get you that list, it'll be included in there. It's, great questions, and any additional questions that you may have down the line beginning July 1st, give us a call at Burrtec Waste. We have an incredible customer service office that is in the city of Santa Clarita. When you call, you're not going to get called out of state. People know who you are. You don't have to mention, I live by Magic Mountain. you know that we the people that you're speaking to know that you're in the city. They're in the city with you. You're going to talk to a live person. You don't have to talk to a robot. We do have an option to make an automated payment, but if you want to talk to somebody, you can, and you can ask those questions. We're just a phone call away.
I thought you guys were supposed to be cheaper, now it's going up.
Yeah, I mean,
They
well,
lied to us in city council, remember?
it's for certain.
It's gonna be cheaper.
For some people, it is cheaper. For some people, it's more expensive. From what I understand, people who weren't utilizing the green cart were getting a discount for that. In light of the Senate Bill 1383, that's a third driver or a third truck. It's a whole nother process, and it's expensive. And so, in order to accommodate such a service and get you everybody compliant, get the city of Santa Clarita compliant, the cost does go up. Anytime you add more service, the cost does go up. Unfortunately, the service it's mandated. And like I said, per the Senate bill, everybody has to have one. So in order to accommodate that, the price did need to go up for some people. Some people it did go down, but keep in mind again, we were the lowest bidder. So we kind of we put a feather on the hat for that one.
Okay, so what goes in the black one?
The black is trash. We can, I can kind of name off some things: clothing, diapers, dishware, flower pots, hoses, plastic bags that don't have food waste in it. That goes into the food waste or the organics. Pet waste, plastic toys, plastic utensils, shrink wrap, straws, window glass, wipes, pretty much anything plastic that's contaminated plastic. Like I said, the K-cups, they have coffee on them. We can't recycle that. So unrecyclable plastics will go in there, and everything that I just mentioned. The blue car is going to be paper, plastic, cardboard. Your aerosol cans, aluminum cans, cardboard, catalogs, envelopes, glass bottles and jars, junk mail, newspaper, paper. Plastics number 1 through 7, tin cans, tissue boxes, and wrapping paper. And then we've already talked about what some of the organic carts. What we're taking with that. Well, the clothing wouldn't go in the recycling. Again, diapers wouldn't go in the recycling. Dishware wouldn't go in the recycling. When you generally think about cardboard, I think paper, plastic, cardboard. Paper, plastic, cardboard, and those are generally what we find in some of these blue recycling carts.
So what happened when people just everything in one look?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, with the contamination, just like it is right now, I mean, if you put a bag of trash into the blue and the driver sees it, he's going to tag it, basically saying, hey, the reason why we didn't pick this up is because you're going to contaminate the whole load. And that's going to be the case even with the organics cart. If we do see things that can't be composted, it would be tagged. You can call it in, and we give you the opportunity to offload it. Or if you just want it dumped as trash, you can give us a call and we can make that arrangement and kind of, help you kind of process that. Well, I thought it was this. Well, that's fantastic. We're all learning together, and that's the first thing. I mean, we're not the trash police. We just want to pick up the right material, and really, this is new to all of us. And this is why we've kind of bolstered up our customer service line to just take in calls like this and say, how do we move forward? How do we do better? How do we get this right? Yes.
So what happens with multi-family like condominiums?
That's a great question. Yeah.
Are they contaminated, which always happens because people don't understand what plastics 1 through 7 is. That's different.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. In general, we say plastics. Just give us your plastics. I mean, we don't. We have a sorting line at the material recovery facility that goes through that stuff. When in doubt, that's fine. You know, that's why we have that. You know, we, you know, in reference to condominiums and apartment complexes and stuff like that, you know, that's actually my job. I work very closely with the property managers, and we're just trying to get as much education out there. We're in the complexes, we're talking to residents, and again, it's a process, you know, and our goal right now is to provide every resident with access to the recycling. In this case, would be to the organics. There's a lot of condos and apartments that don't even have recycling, the blue one, and so we're adding that too, so everybody will have access to it, and we're ensuring that you know, in light of Senate Bill 1383 and with the ordinances in place from the city of Santa Clarita, everybody will have access to recycling and the organics. The contamination thing, that's a journey, and we are in talks with the property managers and the residents, and you know, it's just, you know, it's all part of the fun.
What happens on, I don't even know what day July 1st is, because our trash day is usually on Wednesday. So what happens to our trash bins after we get yours?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you will keep your same service day. Right off the bat, we're going to continue. We're not, you know, going to change that up. So the day that Waste Management has been picking you up, we're going to pick you up as well on that day. Now, it just so happens that July 4th is on that week. As you know, with any July 4th, our drivers will not be working in honor of that day. So we're going to be running a day behind. So if your trash day was on that, you know, Wednesday, it'll be on Thursday, and then so on and so forth. If your trash day is on Friday, we'll be there Saturday, and then it goes back to normal the same day. You had a second part to that question, was the existing. That's great. So we are actually hiring a third-party company called Fleet Genius, and this is all they do. They exchange carts and containers for moments, you know, for instances like this when there is a transfer. So these people, while we're out picking up your trash in the streets, they're going to be out here exchanging them. So one day you're going to put out your waste management carts, and you're going to come back, and they're going to be Burrtec carts along with that pail. And so again, bring that pail inside and enjoy your new carts. So.
How about styrofoam?
Styrofoam is a great question. Our local material recovery facility doesn't have a styrofoam compressor because it's very expensive and very big. That would go into the trash because of that. Styrofoam is it gets, you know, it's essentially tiny pieces of paper, you know, compressed really tight. So in order for that to get pressed really tight, you need that machine. And so unfortunately, we don't have it here, so it would go into the trash. You're more than welcome to keep putting in the recycling, but it's going to end up in the landfill. Bubble wrap, we'll take that. We'll take that as recycling. Yeah, we'll take that as recycling. Yeah.
And like cardboard boxes?
Absolutely, recycling. Yeah, that's primarily, I mean, you know, with the rise of Amazon, that's all we see is just a lot of cardboard and all the fun things that come with Amazon that's being discarded. So, yes.
So, I never get this right. So two questions, if I may. The one is, because this is a new contract, can we avoid submitting a records request to receive a copy of that contract? Can that just be posted on the Santa Clarita website? And then I have a part two just quickly. I apologize for being late. Maybe you've covered it. But the organics, I've not even understood that this is even a good law to start with, because as a gardener, organics, raw meat, oils, all put together, the plant-based material breaks down more readily, but the others create pests, vermin, etc. So how do you see in this new state-mandated program that I live in a condominium, how do we keep our property? We already have wildlife, skunks and raccoons and all this. So how do we keep ourselves from having a higher level problem with our trash and the organics?
Yes. What was the first question? I'm sorry.
The contract?
Yes.
Can that
Okay,
be
so the
posted?
contract, I can't speak for the city and how they release the records. I would call, you know, our good friend Curtis Williams. He's amazing on that. He'll let you know on all that. It is public information as to, we don't have it on hand, you know. The second way with, you know, this is why, you know, it's one of those things where us using plastic bags to, you know, be the vehicle of separation in the organics container. It also helps with the pest stuff because all of that's being discarded right now. But the reason it's not that big of a deal is because people are bagging it. we're going to continue bagging it. It's just going to, instead of going to the trash, it's going to go into the green.
See the little bucket?
Yes.
So
It'll-
they're gonna give you that, oh, you're organic down there.
Yeah, so we're going to give you one of these to keep in your house as just a utility for that. And I like to use these, but again, you can use bread bags, containers, different ways to. And that's the idea. It serves for two utilities. Number one would be keeping it clean from everything just spilling out, pests and rats having a field day. It's going to help with that. And number two, it's going to keep the green waste and the food waste separated inside an organics container. Does that make sense?
Okay, so we separate meat debris from,
Well, anything food waste, yeah. So, you know,
then I'll get myself, I'm sorry.
it's okay. No, it's okay. I mean, you know, so the organics material, that's all going to go, all of that is considered organics. And we have the meat, the bones, all of that stuff. And so all that's going to be placed in bags. And that's going to go into your your organics cart. But along with it, we're also going to ask that you put in your landscape material loose. And that's going to be the separation. The green waste is going to, because it's two different processes, as you were saying. So the green waste is going to be loose, the food waste is going to be bagged, all into an organics container. And that's why we're calling it organics, because it speaks for the green waste / food waste, right? So it's a little bit confusing. It's a little bit of a trifecta there, but you know, we're doing our best to try to explain that.
So say you use paper towels to clean up the, yeah, the mess or like bones or chicken or whatever, and that would still go in the green, you can mix it?
Yeah, if it's food soil paper, we will take that as organic material, as food waste. Yeah, food soil paper, we'll take that. That'll break down. It's just if it's plastic, that doesn't break down, so that would be considered trash. Yeah. So, you know, one thing that,
Paper plates, like in microwave or something?
yeah, paper plates we'll take as, yeah, if it's paper based, we'll take it as food waste. If it's not paper, if it's plastic, we cannot take that. So, and you'll start seeing that too around restaurants. They're starting to go from like even the clamshells being like styrofoam based or now more paper based. You know, you start seeing straws. That's kind of unfortunate one, but you know, after a few, you know, just kind of sitting there, I'm just like, starting to melt in my drink. But that now becomes organic material. You know, it can be broken down. It doesn't go to the landfill. Something as small as straws. But anything that is being converted from plastic to paper, it's for the purpose of an organic recycling process, and that's why they're doing it. I mean, in a perfect world, plastic is awesome because it's so durable, but it also, because it's so durable, it takes forever to break down, and it ends up in the ocean, and it stays in the landfill a long time. And so this is why doing paper-based material helps, because it does break down in you know, as compostable rather quickly, and we can recycle it really well. And you know, we have a website for the city of Santa Clarita. I'm going to kind of say burrtec.com, burrtec.com /SCV, Santa Clarita Valley. And it's going to have pricing information. A lot of frequently asked questions are in there. Tons of information on that website, burrtec.com /SCV, Santa Clarita Valley. And so when you're there, if you're a commercial customer, you press commercial. It has all the information, the pricing there, but more, you know, more for us, residential, it's going to have all that information there. And it is a wealth of knowledge. I mean, I go back to it very often, and you know, it helps me answer some of the questions that are being asked that I just don't know off the top of my head. So a lot of information there. We're here for your support. Give us a call. I'm going to leave some cards here as well for you. You know, if you're watching online, just let us know. You know, they have my contact information. And again, we're all learning together. We have expanded our community relations team. And the funny thing about our community relations team, we're all supervisors, and you know, we're trashmen, and you know, we have one of our floaters who drives every single truck. He's out there surveying, and it's just all hands on deck. I mean, we do everything. You know, if I'm not driving a truck, I'm out here speaking, and I'm, you know, delivering barrels, whatever you guys need. That's kind of how we are as a company. We really operate as a mom and pop, and we love it. You know, it's fantastic, and I think it's been the secret to our success. So we're going to keep that culture up. We're going to keep being available for you guys, and just, you know, we're just hoping that you know, we can just we'll do exactly what we've done before, and we're going to continue doing what we've done in the past that got us here in the first place. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate your questions. Oh, we got one more. Yes.
Did you acquire the office space on Dayton over there? And
Are you going to continue with the, you have the 40-yard roll-offs over there that are open during the week for bulky items that you can take there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's that's out of my I couldn't tell you the the real estate plans as far as if we're going to be moving into that office. I'd have to get back to you on that, but we are working on either continuing that same drive-up place for your bulky items and stuff, or we're gonna find a new place. So as you will know as soon as we know, give us a call. And for now, it is going to be the same place, from what I understand. But that's to be seen. We have a couple more months to get all those things ready to go. But from what I understand right now, we will continue honoring that that same location for those drive-up bulky items. And of course, we were going to continue having bulky items at your house or at your place of residence. You're going to get 4 per year. That's included in your service, 4 free bulkies per year, up to 3 items per occurrence. And so if you can't get in the truck, bring it down there, we'll come to you, and we'll be happy to pick it up, at least 4 times a year, so.
Are you gonna maintain the same, like we live in mobile homes, I don't know that use does, but do you pay separately to waste, or do you pay, in the rent?
So the chances are that whatever you have worked out right now, it's going to continue. We're not really changing any billing structures or anything like that. If it's included in your lease and the HOA or the mobile home park pays for that, it probably will continue. I'm working with a lot of mobile home parks, and we're providing the updated pricing. We're getting the third container sorted out as far as size wise and all that stuff. So all that to say, you will probably continue the exact same structure you're continuing now.
But I saw up there where you had a senior's discount, yet, and we don't get it at the mobile home.
The reason why you don't get at the mobile home, because it's all compiled into one single bill, and so it would be it's just like, okay, I have this many units, this is your bill, and regardless of who's inside, that's kind of, if it was you by yourself, if you are in your own residence, you can absolutely apply for that, but it kind of gets jumbled up when everybody's on one single bill, and that's the reason for that. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you asking me out here, and I'm gonna leave my information. And this is a continued conversation, I know for sure. I know folks have tons of questions. We're here for you guys, so I appreciate your time. Thank you.